And I think we're seeing an increasing appetite with the, especially at the commercial list, to take things by way of application when they can. So
Yeah.
it would definitely be worth, members, the audience trying that again. And Ira, when you're recognizing a foreign judgment from outside of Canada in Ontario, do we need expert evidence to get past the burden of showing that the foreign court took proper jurisdiction over the matter? How do you satisfy that part of the test?
Well, I think the short answer is that while expert evidence is not strictly required, it is a good idea to have evidence from a foreign lawyer in the home jurisdiction of the judgment to speak to a few things, actually, not just that the originating court had jurisdiction, but also that service was proper under the rules of the originating jurisdiction, and also that the defendants were provided with whatever notice of any other steps that may be necessary under foreign law. So, for example, if it's a case of a default judgment, there are obviously very unique and particular requirements in different jurisdictions for service and notice. And so, I typically prepare an affidavit from the foreign counsel, usually the same person who's instructing me on the recognition and enforcement proceeding here, to kind of walk through, the steps that were taken in the foreign proceeding and explain that service was proper, notice was proper, jurisdiction was established. Now, in some courts, of course, the court itself will put into the judgment or into the reasons an explanation of the basis for jurisdiction. Some courts in the U.S. are quite good at that, particularly if there's a magistrate judge who reviews and makes recommendations to the actual judge who grants judgment. Sometimes there'll be detailed, background on the basis for jurisdiction, and that may, get you over the requirement. But I still think it's helpful to have a foreign lawyer who can cite the necessary rules. And typically, I attach the foreign rules to the affidavit so that if there is some question about what's required, the court here can look to those rules. So I think it is a good idea, even if it's not strictly mandatory.